Have you faced some big challenges in your life? You are not alone. Being inspired by others who have faced similar challenges is what helps shine light on your path. And here are those stories. Hi, I'm Greg Crawford, and welcome to the Challenge to Triumph show. All right, welcome to another show of the Challenge to Triumph show. I'm your host, Greg Crawford, and I'm here with my guest from England. His name is Chris Flores. Chris, is that how you say your last name, Flores?
Flores.
Okay.
Flores. Chris Marco Flores.
It sounds like a Spanish last name for an English guy.
Yeah. I think I'm the only Mexican or Flores Mexican in England that I know of.
Okay. So Chris grew up in England, obviously, if you can't tell by his lovely British accent. And Chris actually has a pretty cool story about, I know when let's dive into your past way back. So
Yeah.
you joined the Army, the British Army, at the age of 16.
That's right.
So tell me about what made you join the Army so young?
So before I joined the army, we finished school at 16. Well, we did when I finished school.
Okay.
And before finishing, I got into trouble with school, so I wasn't able to finish school. So I left without any qualifications. I didn't really know what to do, and I was hanging around with a bunch of friends, and they was greeted by a recruiter, and a recruiter offered them to a weekend away with the army. He said, all my friends can come with me, and they was like, let's go to the weekend away with the army. And I was like, no way, why would you want to do that? And I had no intention to join in whatsoever, but all of my friends went off for this weekend away, and I didn't want to be by myself, so I went away with them. So when I went away, by the end of the weekend, I become the only one who ended up signing up to the army, because it felt like to be part of something rather than just doing nothing. That's what made me join the army first at such a young age.
So you felt a draw to join the Army because you wanted just to be a part of something?
Yes.
Okay.
Part of something that I felt like I'd be proud of.
Right. Something. Now, what was your childhood like? Were you raised by two parents? What was that like in your household?
Yeah, mum and dad still around. They did split up, but they were both very amicable with each other. So it was a good childhood.
Okay.
I used to go between my mum and dad's house. So I wasn't set to one place. I had quite a lucky childhood, I reckon. So
Okay.
I
Awesome.
had the benefit of both.
So you joined the Army at 16. And how long were you in the British Army for?
So it was 3 years. I went into one regiment, and then I went into another regiment. The first regiment was Coldstream Guards, the people that stand outside Buckingham Palace with the black hats.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then I transferred over
Where
to
you have to you have to stand stiff and you can't have any facial expressions. Is that the one?
That's correct. When they say you can't have any, well, you shouldn't have any facial expressions, but
Right.
for 2 hours, you do kind of pull some facial expressions. It's quite good, to be honest.
Okay.
Behind the scenes is completely different to what you might think it's at in what you see and what you hear.
Were you able to travel with the Army?
The time I was with the army, I got travelled around the country, but not really around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So when I finished basic training, I then went to my units, and they just come back from Iraq, so they wasn't going away for a little while. So I missed the boat for the opportunity to go away with them, but I didn't miss the boat when I went into the next army.
Okay. So what happens next?
So I joined the British Army. I've done it for on and off for 3 years. I come out, I went back into construction, what I was used to, and did enjoy it. I didn't feel part of much. I was wasting my money drinking. So then I missed the army, and I had an American passport, so I went over to America and I joined the American Army infantry. And that was in 2009. I went over to America.
Okay, wow. So you joined the American Army. I didn't know that you could join the American Army if you're a British citizen? I didn't.
I don't think you can. I just think I'm very lucky. My dad's got American passport, so I've
Okay.
got dual citizenship. So I got born abroad citizenship. I was very lucky. So that's
Oh,
why
okay.
I had the ambition. So I wanted to use what I've got rather than just let it waste.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
how would you compare your experiences between the British Army and being in the American Army? Was it different?
Huge.
Was it there was a big difference? Yeah.
Very, very big difference. Both benefits in different ways. So I was
Uh-huh.
very lucky when I joined the British Army before I did the American, because obviously I had 3 years worth of experience before I joined the American, and because I couldn't really take any of my um, record from the British Army to the American, it didn't aid me in any way. I thought it'd be best just to keep silent and not say anything, because if I went into the army telling them to basic training, telling them that I knew everything, then they'd probably expect me to know more. So I just kept my mouth shut and just performed quite well, only because I had the experience of the British Army. So I looked like I was shining to the basic training or the boot camp in America. And the difference between the two, British, we started with 55 people. It was 6 months basic training, or what you call boot camp, and by the end, only 17 people finished. And because it was such a small number, that it was very individual training.
Yep.
Whereas in America, it was a lot of masses. We had 200 people, 200 and some, like 50 people starting boot camp. It was 3 months training. By the end of the 3 months, there was like 200 people finished. So it was very mass training. And obviously, it's just the way the system works. I
Yep.
think the British have the advantage because they have the individual training more, because the mass training is you can get lost in the crowds a bit. Um, but the equipment and everything the American have was phenomenal compared to the equipment the British had. The equipment the
Right.
British had was good.
Okay.
America's was just slightly better.
Yeah.
So much difference that we could talk a whole story just about the difference of the British and the American Army.
Right. So how long were you in the American Army now?
3 years the American Army.
Okay.
Uh,
So altogether you're in the army for like 6 years.
yeah, 6 years. It wasn't consecutively, but it felt consecutively.
Yeah.
It
So
was
it's
just
that's a lot of training and structure in your life for a
yeah, it
while.
was great. So when I was in the British Army, I didn't really know what to do with life, even though I just wanted to go in the army. I didn't have no ambitious to stay. So I came out and I realised how much I loved it. So when I went to American Army, I had my mindset is that that's it. I'm in the army. I'm not leaving. I'm going to do as best as I can. And whilst I was in it, I did build quite a good record.
Hmm.
So
So you were
that was
thinking about making the military a career?
100% a career for a lifetime.
Okay.
Whilst I was in it, I did have slight doubts of staying in because it's a hard life if you want to create a family,
Hmm.
things like that. But it was something I enjoyed and something I was quite good at.
Right.
Didn't feel like I
So
needed to leave.
so you end up leaving the army. What happened that what changed that you thought you were going to make it a career and then you ended up leaving?
So I'll build a story up so I can probably lighten the blow a little bit. When I was American Army, I went from basic training for 3 months to airborne training for what was it, 2-3 weeks it was, and then after that I went to my unit, which was in Texas. And as soon as I went to my unit, there's like, you get deployed in 2 weeks. And so I was completely confined from the beginning. I was in the army um, to when I went deployed. So I got deployed for 12 months, and then I had lots of money when I come out, and I was young, and then I ended up get caught drink driving, which didn't allow me, rightfully so, to stay in the army. So I had
You got a
options.
DWI?
I got DWI,
Okay.
and I was asked to leave, which then turned it upside down because all I had visioned was to stay in, and from a silly mistake, I got punished, rightly so doing so, but
Yeah.
it obviously took such a big toll on my life because it changed upside down. I did not have a clue what I was going to do.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yeah,
One little mistake can change the trajectory of your life.
hugely. Big U-turn. I didn't know where to go into.
So
So,
what
but it's
happened?
my fault. Uh, so I got a call. I got a new vest. I went back over to England. Just went straight back into construction. Just try and make a bit, well, make money as you do. But I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I didn't like. All I wanted to do was try and get back into the army. I tried finding ways to get into the mercenaries. I could be part of like a small team army. It's because what I knew, what I thought I was good at. That's but I couldn't seem to figure a way. So I tried. Obviously, then it started leading within depression, and not sure where to go. So I done what was helping me, drinking my life away for the next couple of years, trying to figure out what to do, how to get out of it.
Mm.
Really.
It's yeah, it's a place where you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, and unfortunately, those type of mistakes, with certain organizations are not forgivable.
No.
So okay, so now you're just trying to make ends meet. You're start drinking because you're medicating yourself to try to make yourself feel better. But really what you're doing is just going down a deeper hole. Is that correct?
100%. Absolutely.
So
Definitely.
tell me more about that.
Um, so I used to drink because I thought that's what I enjoy, which I did. I loved it. And I used to drink week in, week out, sometimes 3 times a week. And it wouldn't just be like a cup of drink, to like drink to the point where I would not remember the night, not remember the next day, always getting into some sort of trouble or some sort of drama. Um,
Hope you weren't
and
driving.
no, not driving.
All right.
But yeah, and it's just suppressing. So, like at the end of the weekend, I bet a lot of people can relate to it. So, when you're having a stressful week, all you do, you go out on a weekend, and so say you go out on a Saturday night, look forward to it, get the anxiety feeling of being able to go out, and when you do go out, it's like 4 to 6 hours of completely forgetting about what you need to worry about, completely forgetting about the past, completely forgetting about the future. It's just living that moment there and then. Um, Not worrying about anything else. And so the next day you wake up and it's like, oh, I get fear, like reality hits. So then you go out drinking again to suppress it. And then when it comes to Monday, when the reality kicks in, it's like, oh, then you've got to deal with all the financial issues or all the problems that you have actually got to face with in life, which you probably made worse by going out drinking. And if you've got financial difficulties, you're spending all that money that you didn't have to spend, but you prioritize your way of life wrong by drinking and use the money that you need for rent and food and things like that to be able to go out and drink and have a good time, which in fact is the worst thing you can ever do. It's like a short period of time, but long term effects.
Sounds like a
So
pretty
then,
vicious cycle.
oh, very bad. Because when I left, I, I kept moving around. Every 6 months I was moving because I just wasn't settled. And everywhere I moved, I was blaming anything else but myself. Like I wasn't enjoying life. Um, and one of the places I went was I become a personal trainer, weirdly enough, even though I was drinking. Um, but fitness is something that keeps me above the depression and helped me go through life a little easier because I always felt great at fitness. And when you feel fit, it's the greatest feeling in the world. So I was quite lucky to have experienced that, to try and get out of any bad state. But when I was in Cardiff, which is a place in Wales in England, um, I was a personal trainer there, but I was still drinking week in and week out. Um, and towards the end of my visit in Cardiff, I met a group of people who become my friends, and they're great friends, really good friends. But the way we became friends was through drinking. So we learned to become friends through drinking. And each weekend, as much as we tried to not drink, we'd always end up going out drinking. And my financial situation would be plummeting because all my money would be going on drinking. I'd hate where I live because I didn't think I could afford where I'd live. I didn't enjoy the job, which was personal training. Even though I love personal training, it just wasn't being able to fund the life I was trying to live. So then I blamed it on the job not being able to pay me enough to be able to support it. So I thought I was underpaid, even though I was employed. So it was up to me. Didn't enjoy the people I hang around with, so I was blaming them. I thought I hated them. I thought they was the worst people. They wasn't trying to support me. Where in fact, they was just being my friend the way we've always been friends. And it got me in a rut that it made me move again. So, and it became like a vicious cycle. So I hate the place I live. I hate the job I was in. I didn't enjoy all the money, and it was all down because of drinking. It made me give up my passion, which was personal training, to go back to construction. Because personal training, I was self-employed. Construction, I was employed, so it took all the stress away.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I wasn't.
how did you?
Yeah.
So how did you? Like, what happened to get yourself out of this cycle?
So, within that story, so I was personal training, which is my passion. Love it. I absolutely love personal training. When I went into construction, I was making good money, but I was hating the job I was doing. The job I was doing was outside. So regardless of the weather, I was always outside, freezing cold, wet, snow, just not enjoying life. And I kept wanting to go back into personal training. I kept thinking of ways that I could have done better as a personal trainer, as an instructor, to be able to fund the life. I always knew whenever I was doing something good, as soon as I started drinking, it would go Pete Tong. And so I always knew drinking was a cause, but I didn't realize how much it was a cause until it was the Friday before Christmas in 2016, where it was our Christmas works due for the company I was working with. And by the end of the night, I woke up and I didn't even realize, but I was told by all the other boys that we all got in a big, massive fight. And so I had this big fight, I didn't even know about it. And it's like, that happened more than enough times. And it's like, right, enough's enough. So I'm giving up drinking. So I just completely not drinking on the head. And it's like, one of the reasons I kept drinking was because my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, and I didn't want to support her for if she could drink, I didn't want to drink. But it all tied in. So I stopped drinking that, and I stopped drinking because it wasn't doing me any good. And I was only going to just stop for 1 year, so I had a 1 year goal of not drinking. But by not drinking, within 3 months, I could not believe how great or how much of a difference it made in my life. And then ever since then, it's just not drinking. I have drunk a couple of times. I drank when baby was born, and I drank when I went to Las Vegas. But
So
I don't.
okay, yeah. So tell me about like this not drinking thing. I'm very curious. When, like, how long did it take before you really started feeling like a difference in how you felt about yourself? Like,
It was probably about 3 months, because when you first stop drinking, um, you get the anxiety, because I only used to drink on weekends. I never used to drink through the week. It was only like a binge drinking, so like Friday, Saturday. And when you first stop drinking, when it comes to like Friday and Saturday, you get the anxiety feeling of going out. And if you go out, you get that feeling like you're missing out on something. And it's a hard feeling to suppress without drinking. And within a month, you feel good, but you still get that anxiety feeling, the missing out feeling. But within 3 months, it's like a revolution sort of feeling. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing. You can think much more clearly. Within the first 4 weeks, we realised that it was how much it was affecting my life, and it was actually my fault why I didn't enjoy the place I was living. It was my fault why I didn't enjoy the jobs I was in, because even the construction jobs I could have probably enjoyed a bit better if I did not drink. It's just the drinking was suppressing everything that I was worried about, but it was affecting a lot of things that I was worried about. So within the weekend, so every time I drank on the weekend, I felt like I was going 4 steps back. Every time I didn't drink, I was going 1 step forwards. Um, and yeah, over time, I was like, I had money in the bank, more money than I could imagine, because I wasn't spent drinking. I was enjoying the people I was around. I, I didn't feel depressed, half depressed. I was tackling the problems that I had in life that I needed to face. So
Hmm.
it's just ticking all the boxes I was ticking rather than just hiding them away. So by
Right.
not drinking, it completely changed my life. But I was
So
also thankful. Sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say, so it sounds like you had like a lot of clarity to really address the issues that were really depressing you in your life.
Huge, hugely.
Yeah.
But I think what's going right back to when I was 16, I think what a bit of a changing point, started a changing point, was before I joined the army. I was incredibly unfit. I I used to try and do boxing. I used to try and do rugby, but I could do neither of them due to my fitness. And it was because of the education that I had of nutrition and exercise. Like I used to go boxing before I'd go out to drink Coca-Cola, and I thought that'd give me some energy and be able to do so. But obviously, it's the wrong thing to do. I thought I used to always be last in running in school, so I thought I was unfit. I didn't feel I had a fitness gene, so I'd never thought part of anything at all. When I joined the army, it completely changed me. It opened up my eyes to show me that it's actually possible to do things that you think is impossible. And throughout my whole journey, um, fitness is the thing that I'm saying that has helped me stay on board above everything else. So going through all the depressions, and even though I was drinking, I was still incredibly fit. It's
Yeah.
the one thing that made me stay sane. And when I did not drink and stop drinking and continue with the fitness and putting them together, it was just a completely different level. So I was removing one of the biggest thorn in my life and adding all the good stuff to help change me.
Yeah. It sounds like
Yeah,
that one shift really changed the direction of your life. That's great,
hugely.
Chris. So you said you only drink on occasions, and you ended up forming your own personal training business, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I got myself back into personal training, and
Hmm.
by not drinking, I was so much incredibly more focused. I created a weight loss course so I only tackle obesity. In the course, I combined it with my personal training experience and my army experience, and it helps take people through a journey, help them experience fitness like the way I've experienced it.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about having six packs or looking the best. I just enjoy opening the mind to the point where you feel like it's possible to do anything. And I think that's more powerful than anything else. Um,
What
so I
about people
started,
that struggle with? What about people that do struggle with alcohol? I know sometimes you don't have to be an alcoholic to enjoy alcohol, but sometimes people that are trying to get in more fit or feel better about themselves tend to have a little bit of a struggle giving up alcohol altogether. So is that something that you
yeah,
help them work on?
yeah. So I I help people the ones that need it the most. So unfortunately, people only really change, or a lot of people only change when they're in pain. So a client I've got, her name was Sarah. If they were saying she was going in for a gastric ban because she tried everything under the sun, all the different nutrition plan or diet plans, um, and so before she met me, but she enjoyed her wine. She had a wine for every type of different meal she had. Drink wine each day before each night she come home, and then
Mhm.
a lot of drink on the weekend with her friends.
Yep.
So when she first sat down with me, I had to try and break it down to the point to make her realize how much it's affecting her life,
Hmm.
and break it down to the point where it's like if she doesn't stop, nothing's going to change. If she had a gastric band, um, and still live the same lifestyle she lived, it would only be a matter of time before she went back to the way she is unhappy. And
Now,
so
was
I'm
that
able to
just
break it.
physically, or was that like was the wine just affecting her physically, her body, or was it also affecting her like mentally too?
Yeah, the lot. mentally and physically. So physically, she was overweight. Mentally, she wasn't happy. Not happy, like to the point where she was had to pay 10 grand for a surgery that she thought was going to make her better. So when I sat her down, had a good consultation with her, and she got quite upset, which is a good thing because it's bringing out the pain out of her. And then for her to continue with me, I was like, you cannot continue, and I cannot take you on if you're going to drink. I said, you have to stop drinking if you're with me. Now, I knew she wouldn't stop 100%, but as long as I put that guidelines in, then, I'm halfway to the battle. So she's like, right, yes, I'm going to stop. So she agreed that she's going to stop drinking while she trained with me. And she started training with me. Within 3 weeks, she didn't drink a drop, which changed her. She went emotionally, like, it was so hard for her. Kept speaking to her saying, Chris, I need to drink. So I keep powering through. Within 3 weeks, after 3 weeks, she turned around and was like, Chris, I crumbled. I just had a drink. And I was like, it's not a problem. Like, wipe the plate clean. I was like, you can't continue if you're going to drink again. She goes, okay, I won't drink. But then, so it went longer. So she didn't drink because it was a 12-week program I had at the time. And she didn't drink for the rest of the 12 weeks. And since then, she's dabbled into it in and out, but nowhere near as much as what she used to. And so she's in a completely different place, and she doesn't enjoy alcohol like she used to, and she didn't realise how bad it was. So it's like little things that we had to try and conquer. So her friend, like I had a friend, one of her best friends, so the only time they see each other is when they drink, but she spends her evenings with her. And Chris, I keep going around, I keep pouring a glass of wine, and I was like, what you got to do is as soon as they give you one, just pour it down the drain. And every time you do it, keep pouring it down the drain, and then they will stop giving you glasses of wine. And it's exactly what happened. Because they didn't want to waste the money, and it shows that she's serious. But it's like baby little steps over a long period of time equal mass results.
Yeah.
So, and it's done wonders. And she's 4 dress sizes down, 4 stone down. She's cancelled Gaelic band. I've got a video of the story of it if people wanted to see it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, we could put some information in the links in the description area. But sounds like she found her happy place because of your help.
Give her drinking.
Do you share your own personal story with your clients to help them get through that?
Never in my life. It's the first time I've ever said it.
Oh, well,
I've even said it to my family.
Might be a good idea to share it with people that are struggling too, like your clients. So,
I do relate to them. Some of the stuff that's happened. I've told them about me stop drinking, but never been in depth like I have now.
Well, Chris, I really appreciate you being on the show. I really can resonate with your story. I come from a personal training background. And then the whole drinking thing, like I'm not a huge drinker, but I enjoy drinking. But I always feel better when I'm not. You're never going to wake up in the morning and say, oh man, I wish I drank last night. You know what I mean? So, if you are held back and you catch yourself drinking a lot lately and you feel like you're not in the best place and maybe you're depressed, the first thing you could do is cut out the alcohol because it is a depressant.
100%.
It is going to make you feel foggy the next day and less productive. So I totally, appreciate you telling your story and showing, living by example.
Happy to do so.
So Chris, where can if somebody in England is looking to connect with you and maybe join your program, is there a good place for them to go?
Yeah, so the program that I created is offline. Recently put it onto an online platform, and there's a duplication of what I do offline. I put it through 12 phases. Each phase is completely different, step by step, and by the end, some of the phases are going to work better to them and their lifestyle, and it just shows which one works for them. And the best place to find me is on Facebook. My name's Chris Marco Flores, but I'm the owner of Wealth, which is WHEALTH, and the meaning is health. Health is the real wealth. To find it together.
Awesome. Well, I'll put that
Yeah.
information. If you send that over to me, I'll put it in the show notes. Chris, thank you, buddy, for being on the show.
I
And
appreciate it.
yeah, man. So that's it for today. Hopefully you got something out of this story, and we'll see you at the next Challenge to Triumph episode. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Hey, if you love the show, make sure to keep following us on iTunes. It's the Challenge to Triumph show. And also head over to challenge2triumph.com and, follow the journey. Stay a part of the journey. I'll be sending you some really valuable emails and keeping you up to date with who the next guest will be on. So let's stay connected. And if you got a lot of value out of this show, please go over to iTunes and leave a positive review. It would really help boost the show. And thank you so much for listening. Take care.